Okay, let's have a look at DC Circuits Challenge Troubleshooting, Parallel Troubleshooting 2. We have the program here, and we also have a calculator set up here because we're going to need that in order to get the best possible grades in these modules. So, Parallel Troubleshooting 2, turn it on. What we see is a basic blurb of what the activity is about, and there are some troubleshooting hints which you should read before you start this, because hints always help you get a better grade. So when you look at these things, it kind of looks at all of the possible situations and sort of defines them before you start. So it's really a good idea to have a look at this. And once you've read through that, of course, you can click on Begin. So when we see this problem here, we know that one of these conditions, 10 conditions, exists. We don't know which one. We do have some clues, and we're going to have to do a little work to actually maximize our effort. The goal here is to figure out what's wrong with the circuit by moving this voltmeter tab, and I'm going to be moving it, so I'm not going to worry about my grade, because every time you move it, you lose a point. So I have 12 points remaining for item 1. I get 2 free moves before it starts to affect my grade. Once it gets to 10 points, then it's going to start going down as a percentage. So if I move the probe 3 times, I'm going to end up with 90%. The first 2 are free. The third one's going to cost you 10% per move. So when we look at what's given, we see that we have a voltage here. We have a current that is given. That's what the circuit is consuming. And then we have a voltmeter. So the first thing that makes sense to do is figure out how the circuit should work if it is working properly. So to do that, we're going to figure out the 3 currents and add them up and see if it comes up to 123 milliamps. So the first one, we have a 220 ohm resistor at 19.4 volts. So we'll take 19.4 and divide it by I is equal to V over R divided by 220. And that gives us 0.088 or 88 milliamps. Okay, so we have 88 milliamps through R1. Through R2, it's 19.4 divided by 560. That's going to give us 0.034 amperes or 0.035 or 35 milliamps. So we have 88, 35, and then the last one is 19.4 divided by 122 or 1200. And that would be 16 milliamps. So we have 88, 35, and 16. So if we add 88 plus 35 is 115, plus 5 is 120, plus this number here, which was 16, that gives us 136. So looking at this 123, what 2 numbers here would give us 123 roughly? Would it be the 88 and the 35? 8 and 3 is 110. 8 and 5 is 113, so 110 plus 13 is 123. So it's got to be something involved here. Either R3 is out of the circuit or open, or it's not getting any energy, which means that trace 2 could be broken. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the voltmeter here. If the voltmeter here says 19.4 volts, then that means that this resistor is getting its resistance power, but the resistor itself is not conducting any current. So if we put this here and it says 19.44 volts on our DC voltmeter, then that means it has to be the resistor. And it says 19.443 volts. So we have the 19.443 volts here, but we don't have the current flowing through R3, so I'm going to say that R3 is open. Grade item, and we are correct. I earned 11 points on that item. That means I will get 100%. If I had had to move the meter more times than I moved it, then I might have started to lose my grade. But you see how we went about the process of solving this problem and figuring out, and we used our brains instead of using the meter and checking things. We figured out, based on the correct operation of the circuit, what was not working, narrowed it down to two possible components, either trace 2 or R3, and then did one test to figure out which one it is. So you see, as we did this, that this really has less to do with electronics in a sense and more to do with thinking and how to analyze a problem. So that's the way these circuits work. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So if you prepare by doing these calculations in advance, then your results will show the results of that extra effort. So any questions? Send me an email or post something on Canvas, and we'll check you out next time. Thank you.